let's go over Vasyl Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez. It's official now, Gogue, October 17th on the flagship station, ESPN. Now, what is the most important or potentially impactful aspect of Top Rank and ESPN placing this spectacular event for all the marbles at 135 on the ESPN flagship channel?
Well, it's just like the olden days, Joe, when the big networks like NBC, CBS, ABC put the best fights available on free TV so the whole, country could see it for free, not on pay-per-view. And that's why this fight has a lot of significance, okay? Because they're putting a matchup that, Al Heyman wouldn't even dare put on Fox. He would do it on pay-per-view.
Indeed, as we're seeing a great matchup. Again, not knocking the promoter, not knocking the matchup, not knocking the fighters. And we'll go into this a little bit later, Gogue. But, yeah, I think most of us would agree that Charlo versus Derevyanchenko is a fight that we would have seen 5 years ago on regular subscriber Showtime. There's no doubt in my mind that we would have. This would have been just a superb doubleheader on Showtime or HBO. But now it's being thrust on the Showtime pay-per-view network, right? And we'll go into this as to why later on. But, Gogue, you're absolutely right. Bob Arum has the right idea, even asking his fighters, hey, guys, we don't have a live gate. We don't have as much sponsorship right now, and we don't want to put this on pay-per-view because we want as many eyeballs as we possibly can to see this spectacular fight. So they're expecting an audience of at least 3 to 4 million people watching this at the very least, right? So, and that's what we can hope for. Now, let me ask you something before we actually talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of both fighters, Gogue. I recently heard an interview with Jorge Linares, someone who was defeated and stopped by Vasyl Lomachenko in 2017, and he stated, from what I've seen in his last 3 fights, Vasyl Lomachenko has lost a step. He's not the same guy that I faced in the ring. So I'm going to ask you this, Gogue, from what you've seen, is Vasyl at 32 years of age still the same fighter that he was when he made 5 fighters consecutively stop and quit on their stool?
So he's moving up another weight division, okay? When you move up weight divisions naturally, when you're not on that juice, you lose your punching power. And, he's not hitting with the ferocity like he did with the lower weight divisions. But he hasn't lost nothing. He's still a fighter with a multidimensional talent with a high boxing IQ. Indeed.
So I'm going to ask you this on the adverse, Gogue. Now, Bob Arum was very clear. He stated to the media right after the Richard Comey knockout last year in December, he stated, look, if it were up to me, I'd put this fight off for another year or two just to build up the brand of Teofimo Lopez, get him a bit more experience, get him a bigger mainstream attraction. But, hey, what can you do? The kid wants this fight. And so, basically Bob has no choice. If this is the fight that Teofimo Lopez wants, then this is the fight that Bob Arum has to try and make for him. So I'm going to ask you, is this increase in level of competition, is it too much too soon for Teofimo Lopez in only his 16th professional contest?
I looked at the odds. He was a 3-1 underdog. The guys that make the odds, okay, they seem to think so. This kid is not experienced enough, Joe. All of a sudden, he did look very, very impressive, destroying, a very tough, durable, hard-punching Richard Comey. But, Comey is not, Lomachenko, you know what I mean? A guy, with, a tremendous amateur background. Was he 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3 over 300 fights, fought for the,
almost 400 amateur fights, Gogue, with only 1 loss.
Yeah, and what did he do? He won the world title and, second or third pro fight. And how many title defenses he had? Oh, he's had a ton, you know what I mean? But Lopez, he brings a lot to the table too. So, this fight has a lot of intrigue. The explosive, the explosive, sharp counter-punching of Teofimo Lopez, who could take you out at any time. You know what I mean? That's what has the intrigue of the fight fans that are out there that, want to watch it. Because they think, a lot of them think he could beat, even though the odds are like 3-1, a lot of them feel because of the way he looked. It's that perception again, Joe. The way he looked against Comey, they think he could do the same thing to Lomachenko, and he could if he hits him like that.
Indeed. Well, like I said, in the immortal words of Don Chargan, boxing is one of the only sports in the world in which perception can quickly become reality. Guys, with that said, let's look at the tail of the tape for the title challenger. I mean, he's a world champion, but he's going to be the challenger in this event, Teofimo Lopez. Guys, he's comes into the ring at age 23, fights out of the orthodox stance, stands at 5 foot 8 inches tall in the center of the ring. He fights behind a 68-inch reach from Brooklyn, New York. He comes into the ring with a perfect record of 15 wins, 0 losses, 12 big wins coming by way of knockout. Gogue, what can you tell us about the strengths and weaknesses of Teofimo Lopez?
Well, his strengths are, Joe, he's a very instinctive, natural fighter, okay? He's got a good instincts out there when he fights, okay? He has a habit of doing all the right things at the right times. He's fast. I mean, he's fast, he's sharp with his combinations. He's a sharp counter puncher, Joe. You make a mistake, boom, boom. You know what I mean? You're going to pay with them sharp counters. And he's an explosive puncher, Joe, okay? His punches are very sharp and compact when you don't see them, okay? Nothing like that fraud we saw last night, that Rolly Romero, okay? His punches are sharp, later, fast, and explosive. Joe, this guy don't telegraph his stuff, okay? Like Romero, this guy, he boxes beautiful out there. He'll touch. One thing I like about him, he's nice and loose. He touches you with that jab a lot, or he changes the speed of his jab. He'll hit you with some hard jabs just to get in rhythm and everything. Once he's in rhythm with his jab, everything flows. That right hand, he'll just sneak it in there, whap. You know what I mean? The left hooks, lead left hooks. Those sharp counters. If you make a mistake, Joe, he's got great eyes. That's one thing I like about Lopez. He's got great eyes. He'll see your mistakes, and he'll capitalize real quick. I mean, it's just God-given ability, okay? He's a rare talent, okay? He's a rare talent. Even though he only got 16 pro fights, that's stuff you can't teach, okay? I know guys 40, 50 pro fights, 60 pro fights that can't do the stuff he does, okay? That's what I'm trying to say, Joe. When you're super talented like that Lopez kid, you could do stuff that other fighters will never be able to do, okay? It's just God-given. His reflexes, his instincts. He'll work up and down the body, the head, body. He'll work his jab. That's what I like about him. He'll work his jab upstairs and he'll work it downstairs just to keep you off balance. Okay, like Floyd Mayweather. One of the reasons why he can control distance. Floyd Mayweather, the reason why he can control distance so good is his ability to work his jab effectively. Not only just to the head like everybody else. He'll work jab upstairs and downstairs and upstairs, and he mixes he'll mix the rhythm and the speed of his jab up, Floyd, just like Teofimo, okay? Not letting you get used to a certain rhythm, certain speed, and you never know when that jab is going to go. Is it going to go high? Is it going to go low? And once he got his jab working, Joe, then all his other weapons come into play. The lead right hand, the lead left hook, the sharp counters. Okay, beautiful. And when he hits you, Joe, he could put you, on your ass. And once he hurts you, Joe, he's a damn good finisher. This Lopez, yeah.
Indeed. Well, I tell you what, the only fight, Gogue. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
His jab is the key. His ability to work it up and down. But on a southpaw like Lomachenko, it's hard to jab. Okay, because Lomachenko's coming from a different angle and everything. So, but he still could power with his jab a lot, and he still could throw hard, sharp jabs when he has to, and he still could lead with that left hook. But he's pretty damn good with that straight right hand. He's pretty damn good throwing that straight right hand left hook. Nice, not long range, Joe, but like medium range, where it's harder to see and you don't see it coming. But when he hits you, Joe, that's what separates him from everybody else. His ability to hit you and hurt you and take you out.
Indeed. So, Gogue, I'm not sure if you've seen any weaknesses up to this point, but I have to ask you, do you see any weaknesses? The only fight I can think of in which he looked, mortal was back in 2019 in July when he faced the undefeated Masayoshi Nakatani, in which he, scored a decision victory. But, he wasn't able to score that sensational knockout that he had grown accustomed to getting. Gogue, do you think maybe this gentleman is always looking to get someone out of there with one single shot? Maybe that might be his only chink in the armor. He's in love with his power.
Nah, Joe. Nah, his power to him is secondary. His skills and the way he sets up his power is number one. Like I said, Joe, everything's behind that jab of his, okay? And his patience, he's very patient, okay? He likes to see when you're making the mistakes, and he wants to, he'll see the mistakes you're making, then he'll counter on them. Or he'll take advantage of them, okay? But, he's just a sharp, quick counter puncher, Joe, if you make mistakes, and he can hurt you at any time. So, and his punches are not, he don't telegraphs his punches, Joe. They're sharp and compact at medium range where you don't see them. That fight against the Japanese guy, okay, that guy was like, I don't know, damn near 6 feet tall, rangy, awkward, and very, very, very tough, where he could take Lopez's punch, okay? And,
well-conditioned, that's
you know
right.
what I mean, Joe? You combine all those elements, the size, the range, his toughness. Yeah, man, that Japanese guy will give anybody problems. Indeed,
as durable and as well-conditioned as he is, and most Japanese fighters are that way. I hate to stereotype, but that's the way they always come. But, Gogue, have you seen any weaknesses other than maybe the lack of maybe competitive level that he's jumping into? Is this a case where he may be jumping from the wading pool into the ocean?
Maybe. This is he just won the title. Now he's unifying the title against, a guy that was considered the best pound for pound fighter in the world. And he never faced an animal like Lomachenko, a guy that's, a totally different animal than he's ever seen.
Well, with that said, let's go into the strengths and weaknesses of, the Ring Magazine champion at 135, and that's Vasyl Lomachenko. Guys, he's going to enter the ring at age 32. He fights out of the southpaw stance. He stands 5'7" tall in the center of the ring, fights behind a 65.5-inch reach. He lives right now out of Oxnard, California, originally from the Ukraine. He comes into the ring with a spectacular record of 14 wins, 1 loss, 10 big wins coming by way of knockouts. Gogue, what can you tell us about the strengths and weaknesses of Vasyl Lomachenko?
Like I've talked about Lomachenko on prior shows in the past, he's a multi-dimensional talent, okay, with a high boxing IQ. A multi-dimensional talent, meaning, Joe, there's so many layers to his game, okay? He could box you, okay, intelligently from range. He can press you, put intelligent pressure on you, okay, with a high degree of intelligence, okay, when he's attacking you. He just doesn't walk in with his face and takes punches like, Jaime Manguia. You know what I mean, Joe? He has a very sophisticated attack, Joe. That's what I'm saying. He can box you from range. He can attack you with intelligence. All his angles are superb, Joe. The way he gets inside and just, pivots around you and hits you at angles and everything. But Joe, he just throws so many looks at you. Godly, it just keeps you confused and off balance, because you don't know what the hell, what he's going to do next. For example, he'll box you from a range, move around you, circle at you, pivot around you, change the speed of his jab, paw at you, hit you with good jabs, throw that straight left hand to the body, see how you're gonna react. Then, and then he'll lead with the left hook, straight left hand, then he'll, to the head, and he'll pivot around you, Joe? Box you. Then all of a sudden, he'll start putting pressure on you when you least expect it, okay? Intelligent pressure with a lot of good touch jabs, a lot of good head and upper body movement, a lot of variation in his combinations to the head, to the body, head. Then he'll pivot around you, Joe. So he's not there to get hit. Then he'll hit you from different angles and everything, Joe. And his head and upper body movement is superb, Joe. How he just slips punches effortlessly. You know what I mean? How punches just slide by him like a young Wilfredo Benitez. Okay, but the thing is, Joe, he knows how to counter when a guy makes mistakes. So that's another dimension to his game, Joe. Like Lomachenko, you make a mistake, he knows how to counter. All those amateur fights at the highest level, Joe, that helped out a lot. But like I said, Joe, he just has so many weapons in his arsenal, so many variations to his attack, okay? And you don't know which one he's going to do, and his defense, Joe, is superb, okay? Like Floyd, he has multiple layers of defense. He has a good high guard defense if he wants to. Sometimes, he mixes it up. His different variations of defense. He'll have a high guard defense. He'll start moving his head. He'll start putting that jab in your face. Oh, yeah, Joe, his ability to move it in and out of range. He'll be right there for you to get hit. Then once he sees you throwing, he'll step a couple steps back just to get out of range. Then he's back in range, okay, Joe, to attack. He's in and out. See, Joe, when you do that, Joe, when you move in and out, you make a fighter hesitant, okay? Because what happens is, Lomachenko's up in range, and all of a sudden, you want to get off on with some combinations with him. He moves out of range, and makes you miss. Then all of a sudden he's back in. Then, you want to get off on him again, and he's out of range. So what happens, Joe? You start getting hesitant. You know what I mean? On your offense, you start becoming indecisive. And oh yeah, Joe, the feints he throws at you too. Oh my God, he throws all types of feints at you. He just doesn't throw one feint. He'll feint with his head. He'll feint with the jab. He'll feint with that left hand. He'll feint with the head. Oh, you know what I mean, Joe? All the little things that he does, and he changes it up all the time. God, he just keeps you confused. And you can see why when he fights a lot of guys, they get flustered. They get very hesitant. When they want to attack, because they don't know if he's going to be in or out, or they don't know if he's going to move his head and counter, or he's going to pivot around you. You know what I mean, Joe? Shit, I've never, honestly, Joe, I haven't seen a fighter like that ever in boxing.
Wow, yeah, the consummate enigma. That's what Teofimo's going to be looking at on October 17th. Well, you know what the old saying, Gogue, be careful what you wish for, because you may just get it. Well, Teofimo's going to get it on October 17th, whether he's ready for it or not. So now, Gogue, I'm going to ask you, what are Teofimo Lopez's keys to victory for pulling off what would be probably not just a mild upset, a very big one against, what a lot of people consider the best fighter in boxing?
He's got to hit him. He's got to hurt him, Joe. He's got to hit him, with those punches. Lomachenko ain't going to be able to see the medium range, short range punches, okay? All it takes is one punch to put Lomachenko on his ass, okay? And when he hurts him, Joe, he's got to finish him off. Because as this fight goes on, Joe, you're going to see the difference of class, okay? The difference of levels, okay? Because Lomachenko's, vast experience over this kid. His vast, variation of skills and boxing IQ over this kid. But if he doesn't provide an explosive knockout early in the game, okay, that means as the fight goes on, you got to favor Lomachenko, okay? But just like he did Comey, hurt him, get him out of there, okay? That's what he's got to do to Lomachenko, because I just can't see him, outboxing, outfighting Lomachenko, for 12 rounds, with the what do you call it, with the skills and the boxing IQ that Lomachenko has over this kid. Okay. Now this Lopez got a lot of skills and he's got a high boxing IQ, but nothing like Lomachenko.
So, Gogue, what are the the keys to victory for Vasyl Lomachenko going into this pivotal bout at 135?
Don't get hit by that big right hand or left hook early on by Lopez, okay? Watch his sharp counters and everything, okay? Just, fight a very good, smart defensive fight. Don't get hit by those, those big explosive punches early on, and just be Vasyl like he always does, He'll figure him out. He knows what he's got to do. He'll get a good, as the fight goes on, he'll get a good feel and a good rhythm. And, Joe, with all that experience and, in the amateurs and all those, title defenses, he'll know what to do. He'll adjust his strategy, what I'm trying to say, as the fight plays out, okay? And he'll always stay one step ahead of Lopez as long as he don't get hit, okay?
Indeed, Gogue. So we're at the 30-minute mark of the show, sir. I'm going to ask you now, do you have an initial prediction as to who wins and why in this amazing contest between Vasyl Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez on October 17th?
The odds say Lomachenko, if he don't get knocked out. Okay, I'm going to predict two circumstances. Lopez knocks him out explosively, finishes him off, which is a lower probability, or Vasyl, because of his vast amount of skills and talent and boxing IQ, beats Lopez.
So, guys, according to the handicappers at Warwick Radio, if you're going to bet on this fight, bet on a Lopez knockout straddled by a Vasyl Lomachenko unanimous decision.
Yeah.
And there you have it, guys. Take it to the bank. Well, we'll have this segment up in just a matter of a couple of hours on our YouTube page. Guys, don't forget to visit Warwick Radio on YouTube. Comment, like, and subscribe.